Hello again from Singapore. Our last video from here because tomorrow at 5 o'clock the little Yamaha goes back. And we've made a last minute decision not to go to the jungle, which is actually, I said it was in the north, it's somewhere in the middle of Singapore. But instead of going there, we're going to go to the southerlymost point of Singapore. And it's so tiny here, it's still only about 25 minutes away. And they've got the island of, I know I'm going to get this wrong, top of my head, Selawan, I think Selawan, and it's got the best beaches.
Samosa.
Samosa.
Yeah.
Do you know, I also know it's not samosa. Let me check this. Let's get this right. Selawan or samosa? Monica, I just think you're thinking of Indian samosas here. Sentosa. Pathetic. The island of Sentosa we're going to go to. It's meant to have the best beaches in Singapore, so we'll go and check that out. And after that, we'll go to the Islamic Quarter, because that's meant to be a colourful, vibrant place. You can eat lots of great food, places to shop, and we'll check that out. I mean, it's 4 o'clock now. I hope we've got about probably 2 hours or so of sunshine. Let me just show you this before we go. Monica, if you come over here, because this is what really kind of threw us. It sounds so old-fashioned, but this ugly-looking contraption is where you have to put a prepaid card in. Mm-hmm. Now, you have to know about this prepaid card because, Monica, if you pan the camera over to that car park exit, you can see the motorbike on the right-hand side there. You have to know that you need one of these prepaid cards that you get from a convenience store, and then you have to go and top it up. Otherwise, you just can't get out of the place. So you notice every single motorbike has these big contraptions. I don't know why you just can't tap with a debit card, but hey ho, never mind. There's a lovely family that gave us one of those, so we are sorted. Monica, are you ready for, I know you hate this bike. I know you hate it.
I don't hate it.
You don't like it, do you?
I don't like it, but I don't hate it.
Are you ready for our final little road trip?
Yes, let's
Good,
go.
okay. Buckle up and let's go. We're not on the island of Sentosa. Singapore is really incredibly regulated. I can see Monica grinning away because this has been a huge fail. We were riding over to the island of Sentosa, everything looked great. We get there, I think Monica filmed up to getting there, and they said, no motorbikes. Cars fine, but motorbikes are not allowed on the island of Sentosa. I have no idea why. It's incredibly difficult being a biker in Singapore. You have to be very careful where you park, and tell me if I'm wrong from the local Singaporeans. It has to be bike-specific parking. That's a stunner. Has to be bike-specific parking like this. Some shopping centres, no bikes, no motorbikes. They have signs saying no motorbikes. Of course, you have to pay the taxes as well. And then places like the island where they just will not allow bikers onto the island, despite the fact they take up less space than cars. So we were sent away, the lady there at the booth, you know, perfectly friendly. They really are a lovely bunch, the Singaporeans, perfectly friendly, but she takes down the registration, writing down the registration, calls over to another member of security about 200 meters up the road to make sure we turn around at the motorway or at the roundabouts. Checks being done, papers being written and filled out. It's so regulated. So where we are now, well, we're in a park, but we've had to go to the third car park with a space for motorcycle parking because honestly, I'm too scared to park the bike in a car parking space. So we've had to look for motorbike specific parking. Monica's just lost a flip-flop. Monica's just lost a flip-flop. I mean, it's all stunning. Just look around. It's beautiful, but we now have to see if we can find a cable car to get to the island. So we've had to ride all the way back, try and get a cable car to the island because that is the only way we're allowed on.
But that will be interesting. I think that will be a fun way to get there.
Yeah, so do I. I mean, it's also a fascinating insight into the exercise of decluttering roads, isn't it?
Yeah.
You make it really as unpleasant as possible for drivers, what with taxes and places where you can park, things like that. So they've succeeded in that respect, Singapore. Let's go and find the cable car. I think there should be monkeys here, actually.
Really?
Monica, this may shock you. I also think there are monitor lizards around, those huge lizards. So there should be some interesting stuff. Maybe this has happened for a reason.
Okay.
Let's go and find the cable car. We're off. I mean, it's beautifully organised. The view is. It's a shame that. It's a shame that it's overcast, but the view's spectacular.
Enjoying this amazing bird's eye view of Singapore's southern district.
It just all works so well, doesn't it? I see why they didn't let us ride over, because it is $70. That's about £48 for 10 for two people, so it's not cheap. One of the older properties, which is really rare to see in Singapore. And this jungle is so lush. You can see here the bridge that we tried to ride across, where I think near where this red cable car is going, and got turned away. Really stunning though. I mean, Singaporeans, they do everything incredibly well. It's very impressive. And the fact we've got this to ourselves, we're only going to get about half an hour of sunlight though, I think. It's about 6 p.m. now, and I think the sun sets at about 6:30. Last cable car's at 9:30, so Monica, remember that, otherwise we're swimming back. This island used to be a little fishing village, and then the British took it over and it became a British military island. And then in 1972, Singapore turned it into a tourist holiday retreat, and it feels like the entire island, which I think is about the size of Gibraltar, something like 3 miles squared. The entire island, it feels like now, is some kind of leisure island slash theme park. You've got lots of things to do, such as the bungee jumps. It took us 2 cable cars to get here, so I think it would take about 45 minutes or so to get back to the bike, but hugely worth a visit. Just about the warmest sea I've ever swum in, apart from the Caribbean. Everything is beautiful. The jungle just behind me that covers the entire middle of the island is completely pristine, and I'll just flip it. You can see the sun setting just past the island over there. There are shark nets just past. In fact, you can just make them out. Shark nets all the way along, so this is safe for swimming. And when we're at the top of the cable car, we could actually see Indonesian islands. I didn't realize how close they were. Indonesian islands, clear sight on the cable car. Right, I'll go and get Monica, who I don't think she's had a swim. She was considering it. Go and get Monica, then we'll get back to the first cable car, because I think we're probably, as you can see, 20 minutes or so away from it being pitch black. And we've got to ride through that bit of jungle to get out of there, so I'm guessing there'll be bats all over the place as soon as the sun sets. I'll wrap it up there as Monica's popping into a few of the shops. The food in Singapore, especially the Singaporean food, it's some of the best food I've ever had. I almost wish we would have shown you some of the traditional food, but every time we filmed we ended up just not happening to be in one of the traditional places. But it's stunningly good food. It's been a real eye-opening experience. Beautiful country, very, very clean, lots of rules, lots of regulations, but when you've got a country of this size with this big a population in a small space, it has to be for the greater good, and it all makes perfect sense when you see it coming together, going to the beach, everything just so beautifully well organised. It's a really lovely place to live. But now Monica and I, both of us, we're just too excited now. We've got Bali coming up in a day and a half. It's just a 2.5 hour flight and we cannot wait. So thank you so much all for coming on. We'll see you all in the next one.